Commish Radio Show, Part 2. Part 2. That's right, Part 2. First hour, we had Janelle Gray and the class. They are the class of acting. The cast of Rage, which was performing at the AT&T Performing Arts Center. Should have seen it. It may be back. From what they tell me, it may be back. But if you didn't see it, rewind the track, so to speak, and catch the first hour of the Commish Radio Show, April 30th, the last day of April. And it's also, we're getting ready to start the early voting for the runoffs. And in the runoffs, we have runoff election for Dallas County Clerk, John Warren. And John Warren is here with us today. Hey, what's going on, man?
Good afternoon, Ed.
Good afternoon. I didn't expect to see you here, man. I thought you would have won it the first time around, man.
That makes two of us.
But how many people you had running?
But they were generally in a three-person race. Mm-hmm. You can expect to have a runoff. So actually, after the filing period ended in December, we, in addition to planning for the primary race, we're also planning for a primary runoff race also.
Okay, all right. So you've been out campaigning?
I'm out campaigning 5-6 days a week. I get home 8-9 o'clock at night. It's actually been pretty good because I've actually met a lot of people that I probably would not have met otherwise. Who they assumed that that race was won, that I had gotten it, and so they see that that didn't occur. And so a lot of people are coming out supporting me in the runoff, so that we can continue to do the great work that we've been doing down at Dallas County.
Okay, all right. So you're working and you're campaigning too.
I'm working and I'm campaigning also. That's right.
So how's the campaigning going?
Campaign is going well. Like I said, I visit a lot of people. I'm meeting people every day. We do block walks on weekends. We do church visits we do block walks on Saturdays. We do church visits on Sundays. Other events during the weekdays. So it's going pretty good. I feel pretty good. So, and I believe May 24th I'll be victorious again.
May 24th.
May 24th is
May
election
24th.
day.
Now people getting this election confused with the city elections.
One of the things that we wanted to not do is to create that confusion. So I've basically just been waiting for May 7th to come before we start pushing all of our materials and signs and all of our literature for the primary runoff, not to get it confused with the municipal runoffs, the municipal elections that are also going on.
That puts it at somewhat of a disadvantage. Then it's like a Neverland type thing.
Yeah, I mean it's a short sprint, if you will, because you don't want to have the citizens confused with the municipal elections, because they say, well, I think I voted already. It was no, the election wasn't right. May 7th. The election is coming up May 24th.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that there is a distinction with every event I attend, with every conversation I have. I always make that differentiation between municipal elections, May 7th, the state primary or Dallas County primary elections, which early voting starts May 16th through the week of May 16th through the 20th, and May 24th being election day.
Now, what's the main thing that you're running on? I mean, we talked the last time around, and we talked about your past record of achievement in the county clerk's office. What's the main thing that you're running on?
Well,
the main achievement.
Well, I understand that the COVID pandemic has required us to change our business processes, and so it's not just incumbent on companies to address how they're going to do business in this new environment, but it's also local government's requirement to do that also. And one of the things that I'm running on is how we will be providing services to the citizens in basically a hybrid format, because we do have segments of society that live in internet deserts where they don't have access to computers, don't have internet access. We still have to make sure that we're there to serve those individuals. And for those individuals who work who don't want to spend time coming down to the records building or any of the offices downtown to conduct business, we have an opportunity for them to do work online.
Now, is that working to the, how is that going to work to the advantage of people who have, they're in this internet desert? How does
No,
that?
and that's why I say we have a hybrid environment. So for those individuals,
Right.
you come
I
down
know.
to our office and we provide services for you as we always have been.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Now, we live in the same community. And,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a question I've wanted to always ask you about the community that we live in. We have a lot of movers and shakers in that community. Do you see a effort in Grand Prairie, that's where we live at, in Grand Prairie to be more inclusive when it comes to Dallas County politics? Because at one point we had yourself, we had
Well, but before we had myself, we had Roy Williams, who was a constable. We have Judge Gracie Lewis, who's since retired, but she still lives in the community. We had former County Treasurer Joe Wells that lived in the community, but Joe is also retired. But I think now there's me, and then there's Sandra Jackson, who's a family court judge, and I think that is pretty much it for the Grand Prairie area. But we do have Dr. Elba Garcia, who works with all of the cities in District 4, and so I know there's a lot of things that's taken place as it relates to a joint effort between Grand Prairie and Dallas County.
because
So-
we just recently created a new county position, not county position, but a county office out there. And I was just amazed that when we first moved out there, it was, we didn't seem to have a lot of
Yeah.
influence, if you will, or
But I don't think it's necessarily influence yet. I think it's more of a coming together to see what it is that the citizens of the county need. And of course, with Grand Prairie being in the far west corner of the county, so it's what we want to do, of the leaders in Dallas County, we want to make sure that everyone, all of the citizens, and all 32 cities have access to offices. And so we have with each commissioner's district, there is, if not one, at least two sub courthouses
Right.
in those particular areas, so that the people don't have to come into downtown.
okay, so that goes back to the question where you say people going downtown
Yes.
to the downtown to the clerk's office. Do they?
Yeah.
Can they have the
Well-
opportunity to go
well,
to that sub courthouse?
Well, unfortunately, right about now, no, because we have.
See how I set you that question going?
Yeah,
Okay.
but as it relates to the services that my office provides, to a degree we can do that, but that's only related to marriage license and to a small degree, issuing marriage license and to a small degree for the citizens to receive a birth certificate. But the majority of those, and I can't overburden. If we do a lot of that, that means we'll have to hire more staff that works in the county. We'll have to build bigger courthouses to support all of those offices in those city locations.
What other plans do you have for moving the county forward?
Well, in addition to creating a more virtual platform, one of the things that I've learned while I've been out on the campaign trail is the conversations that I've had with John and Jane Q. Public, if you will, the issue with explaining to them what property taxes mean, even though that's not my office, but also as it relates to my office, continuing to protect citizens from property fraud. That's kind of a very subtle thing that people aren't aware of, because you don't know about it until probably years past that you become a victim of property fraud.
How can you be a victim of property fraud?
That's a great question. Property fraud occurs based on 3 particular documents that are recorded in my office.
Okay.
It is a mechanic's lien, it is a warranty deed, and it is also a quitclaim deed. And if I can explain how those 3 act, it's particularly now when you have it's a buyer, it's a seller's market, so there's lots of competition for property. for home ownership. And so you'll have individuals who will perpetrate a crime. If there's a for sale sign at a house in neighborhoods, they will go and they will create these fake liens that said they did work on the property, and they will file those. They will file those with my office, and it'll be a very, like I said, all of these are very subtle. And so if say that it was me who was perpetrating that particular fraud, I see that you have a for sale sign in your yard, so I'm going to create a mechanics lien, saying that I did about $3,500 worth of work on your property. And so you have someone from California who's moving to Texas and they want to buy your house. And of course now they're in the process of selling, they're in the process of buying, they're also in the process of moving, starting new jobs, getting kids in school. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot that goes on as it relates to someone moving to the area or moving to any area and getting settled and closing on property. And so when they get ready to close, the title company will do a search. It will do a search to make sure that there are no liens. Then up pops this lien for $3,500. You're buying a house. So what people will do, because they're anxious to sell, they're anxious to settle that mortgage and to close and move. And so they'll just absorb that $3,500, because the title company will say, well, it's going to take us at least 3 weeks or a month to clear this up. Well, no, let's just fold it into the mortgage, and folding it into the mortgage only means about $4. And so that sounds very easy. But now if you look at that $3,500 times 5,000 or 25,000 victims, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars that someone is actually defrauding people of. And then the second one is a warranty deed, where people will see pretty much houses that, and they identify them about houses that have not been maintained, not a lot of activity, or it could be a vacant lot. And so they'll do a warranty deed, and they will actually they'll actually take their property through a warranty deed and steal it that way. The third way is, like I said, a mechanics lien. I'm sorry, a quick claim deed based on the same description of property: no activity, not maintained, or it could be a vacant lot. And so they will file that quick claim deed, and then they will go to a bank and use that property, use the quick claim deed as proof that they own property. And if the value of the property is $25,000, they will get a loan for the value of the property, and they walk away from a bank with $25,000 and leave someone else on the hook. The difference between those three, or so that they deal with those three documents, is that it only requires the person who is filing the document. It doesn't require an owner to sign. One of the things that we're wanting to do, and I've worked with DA John Creuzot on a number of instances, and we continue to, as we see fraud evolve into more and more different forms. I might mention also that the primary reason this is possible is because they get notaries to participate in the crime. And so
all you need is a notary to fill it?
All you need is a notary. It can be a fraudulent document, but the notary already knows that. But the notary is part of the scheme. And so, but unfortunately, the notary is an officer of the state, so they report to the Secretary of State. Neither my office nor the DA's office has control over notaries, so there's nothing we can do about that. And so, one of the things that I've been wanting to do is that all those three documents, a mechanics lien, a warranty deed, and a quick claim deed, require two witnesses. You already have the notary, so if the notary is a part of the scheme, then that means you got to get other people to be part of a criminal activity. And the more people you have to reach out to,
that's called a conspiracy.
That's called a conspiracy. The more people you have to reach out to become part of that conspiracy, the more difficult it becomes. But also, one of the things that I also want to do in the upcoming 88th legislative session is to make sure that we address the issue of notaries being part of the scheme. Right about now, if a notary does it, there's no repercussions. What I would like to see is that any notary that participates in fraudulent documents, there is instantly a 5-year prison sentence and at least a $5,000 fine for each instance that occur. Because we have to do something. One of the things I've also done, because we don't have time to address every different scheme or fraud. So what I've done is provided the citizens a way so that they can be alert in the event that there's some activity. And this is why I want to make sure I take my time and say this so that your listeners.
Oh, this is very informative.
Yeah, so that your listeners will know. I have already paid for, and it's free to the citizens of Dallas County, a property fraud alert system. All you have to do is go to Dallas County's website, www.dallascounty.org. Go to departments or go to the county clerk's page, and at the bottom of the page, right in the middle, you'll see property fraud alert. All you have to do is click on that button, register your property. You can also register a property of an aging parent or a vacant lot that you may own, even your business. You can register that property, and anytime there's any activity, anytime anyone files a document on their property, you will get an instant notification. You can get it through text message, you can get it through email, or if you prefer snail mail where you get it through U.S. Post Office, you can get it that way. We want to make sure that citizens are aware, but the problem is how do we notify 2 million property owners in Dallas that this is in existence? One of the things that I've done, I've collaborated with the tax office. Our tax assessor, John Ames, he's worked closely with me when he sends out tax notices to individuals who pay their property taxes themselves and not through a mortgage company. We mailed out, in 2021, we mailed out over 500,000 notices that were included in those tax notices. Let people know that this is a system that's available to you at no charge to protect you against property fraud. This year, he will be doing the same thing. So over the past year, we will have sent out notices of the property fraud alert system to over 1 million property owners in Dallas County. But we got to get everybody to start responding. If you come to our office, we have a sign that has a QR code that talks about property fraud. All you got to do is use your phone, and it's in my office. And so if you have problems using the QR code to register, you're already in the office. All you got to do is ask for assistance to register. Also, and like I said, it's also online. We're sending it out in the mail. But John and Jane Q Public has to help us protect them by being aware of everything that's going on. I advise everyone, once you have registered, you also need to do a check to see what is currently filed, because you will get a notification, but that's going forward from the day that you register going forward. It does not go back. And so my advice to everyone, if you think that you've been a victim of property fraud, make sure, first, register for the property fraud alert system. Do a check on your property, the history of your property, to make sure that there are no liens or there are no mechanics liens, there are no warranty deeds, and there are no quitclaim deeds associated with your property. If you see there are none pre-registration, once you've subscribed, then you're covered. But in the event that you do identify that there is a fraudulent document filed on your property, in the local government code, chapter 51.901, it's embedded in the statute where there is a motion for judicial review for purported fraudulent lien or document on your property. I actually had an attorney extract that information from the statute, from the local government code. We now have that in an electronic form online. We also have a paper form in our office for citizens to fill out, and we also have instructions. You complete that motion for judicial review, you file it with the district clerk's office. There's no fee. There's no fee to file that document. Once a judge has, and you also include your supporting documents. One of the things I tell people all the time is that if someone has forged your signature, if you have, whether it's a return check or anything else that has your signature, you also provide that information as part of your evidence that the instrument or document that was filed is not you. And so once a judge has reviewed that document, the judge will then render what is called a findings in fact and conclusions of law. Once the judge signs that, you will get a copy, but you want to make sure you get a certified copy from the district clerk. You file that certified copy with my office in my recording division at 500 Elm Street. There is no cost to file the document.
There's no cost on it.
There's no cost. All of this is free to the public because we want to make sure that we are protecting the citizens of Dallas County. But it's not just my county. I collaborate with my colleagues all around the state, and we're all doing the same thing because property fraud is everybody in every county, not just Texas, or every state, not just Texas. Property fraud is relevant, prevalent in all 50 states and beyond. And so we make sure, in Texas anyway, we make sure that to the extent that we're able to help our citizens, we're there doing it.
All right.
But it's just a matter of awareness, and how do you make people aware of the things that are there and available to them if they feel that they've been victimized.
All right.
And so those are some of the things that I want to continue to do. But I also want to figure out. There are a lot of community leaders that I've met that I start doing workshops on property fraud. So I want to continue to do those and actually talk about how local government works and how we actually here to serve our citizens.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about that. Hey, I appreciate that. That was one of the questions that I believe that people have been asking. And they've been asking, I believe it was, let me go to that question here. I think it was Pamela Grayson that asked.
Yes, I know Dr. Pam Grayson. She's very active in the Dixon Circle area. She is one of the most phenomenal individuals. She cares about her citizens, and she and I have been engaged in a lot of conversations about what we can do or what's happening.
So everything that you just said, a lot of what you just said is an application to her concerns then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll read her concerns. And hey, you guys, you're learning a lot today, aren't you? So stay tuned for the second portion of this hour show, where we're talking to Dallas County Clerk John Warren. All right. See you guys in a second.
This is John Creuzot, your Democratic candidate for District Attorney for Dallas County. Thank you to the commish and Ed Gray and the Commish Radio Show.
Who was that masked man? You mean you don't know? That was no masked man. That was the commish. Saturdays from 5 to 6 p.m. on the Fishbowl Radio Network.
On your daughter's CD, it's more of an instrumental.
Make it look good. 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 Make it look good.
All right, Commish Radio Show back again. We're making it look good. We're listening to Janelle Gray, my daughter. Her CD dropped. Man, it's been a long time ago now. That was when she was doing CDs. She's since then decided to write books, and then she decided to write a poetry book. And then she decided to write a play, and then she decided to direct a play.
The artistic mind never rests.
That's it. Me, I'm just happy to eat cantaloupe and watermelon with you, John.
And grapes.
And grapes. So
that does make for a healthy diet.
No, it does.
That's one of the things that
does.
we have to always make sure we incorporate in our diets. That's fresh fruit.
Yep,
So,
that's it. That's
yeah.
it. So, hey, we were talking during the break, we were talking about her music and everything, but one of the things we were also talking about is, I believe you said Dr. Grayson?
yes, Dr. Pamela Grayson.
So she's in Dixon Circle, you said?
Yes.
Hopefully she's taking this interview and pass it around to other people. And thank you, Dr. Grayson, for looking at the show and for supporting the show as well. I'll read what she wrote. She said, I've heard a lot of rhetoric indicating that the Dallas County Clerk has permitted the unlawful absconding of property, meaning obviously homes. How about we tune in and ask the question to ensure if we're operating with accurate information? So you're
Okay. Actually, to address Dr. Grayson's question, The statement was that I allow it to happen, but people need to understand that the laws are structured, and
Yeah, that's what it says.
my obligation is to follow the law. But the local government code also says that if we believe in good faith that a document presented to us is a fraudulent document, then we send it to our district attorney for review. And we will, and that's exactly what we do. If we determine that a document is suspect or looks unusual in nature, then we send it to the DA's office for review. The DA will tell us that we can or cannot file the document based on what the law says. And if the DA's office says that we cannot file a document, then we don't file it. There are some instances where the DA says that you can file a document. It still looks suspect to me, and so and here's the interesting part, because like I said, you have notary publics who participate in the fraud. They're part of the conspiracy.
So it looks good.
Yeah, and so and that means it's proper on its face as the statute requires. And so the notary is actually the person who is supposed to be filtering who's supposed to be the gatekeeper, if you will, as it relates to fraud. The law says that we are required to post a sign saying it's illegal to file a fraudulent document with our office. And if we do identify it, we send it over to the DA's office for review. That's exactly what we do. And so when you have...
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, if you find something that looks fraudulent and you send it over to the DA's office, then what do they do?
The DA's office will review it, but also the DA's hands are kind of tied, because, like I said, if the notary is participating in the fraud, then it appears that everything is legitimate, because the notary is supposed to make sure that the person who is filing the document is exactly the person. If it says it's Ed Gray, then the real Ed Gray should be appearing before the notary. A lot of people will take documents to a notary because, like I said, the notary participate in the fraud. A lot of people just take them to the notary, not the people who's in there, but the person who's filing the document. They are the only person who will be with the notary when the notary public is notarizing the document. The law requires us to make sure that the grantor and the grantee and the property and the description of the property is identified, and that it is properly notarized. Like I said again and again, the notaries are the problem because they participate in the fraud. And if the DA's office see that it is a real notary, a real notary seal, and it has not expired, then the DA's office, we have to, by law, file those documents. Otherwise, the person could file a lawsuit against my office and the DA's office or Dallas County, because we are not following the law. And so that's why I said one of the things that I want to do is make sure that there is a criminal and civil penalty levied against the notary public for participating in fraud and the filing of fraudulent documents. Today there are none.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things that DA John Crusoe and we recognize this as a problem, but we have to continue to figure out how we can get around
And this would have
make sure that the language is there that covers everything that's necessary, so that property fraud becomes very, very minimal to the point where it doesn't exist anymore.
And this would have to happen in the Texas House.
It has to happen in the Texas House, and I'm so glad you said that, because there have been on two other occasions where I've worked with the DA's office. I worked with State Representative Carl Sherman and some other state representatives on some legislation to address this issue. But because Democrats are not in control of the House, those bills don't pass. Their focus has been other things.
Well, my question with that is that people still, they're Democrat, people still, they're Republicans. Who would care? I mean, whether or not a Democrat or a Republican would put it up for a vote in the House, because the people are the ones who are suffering.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is there are other bills.
Right, I understand what you're saying. I'm just stating the case.
Yeah, you're right. This particular legislation that would do wonders for the citizens, they actually put that at the back of the line. There are other things that are more important to them that will benefit them than something that will benefit the people that we are here to serve.
Like what I'm reading in the school library.
Yeah, and that's exactly why it's not just when they say all politics is local. All politics is local because we are here to serve the people. It is of the people, by the people, and for the people. That's what I believe. And anyone can come to my office and say, "All right, John, I need to see exactly what you do, and I want to know exactly. I need you to tell me, and I need you to show me exactly how you are working on my behalf. How are you protecting me from all these things?" I'm obligated to do that. And I know all the elected officials, whether it's John Ames, the tax assessor, certainly John Crusoe, the DA, Pauline Madrano, the county treasurer, especially Ms. Petrie, Felicia Petrie, the district clerk. We all have that same mindset. We're here for the people.
Since you brought up Ms. Petrie, could you explain the difference between a county clerk and a district clerk? We do this every year.
Yeah,
but
we do.
We're going to keep doing it.
Yep, and it's
It is-
important.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's-
And so, the difference between the county clerk and the district clerk, my office is more diverse. It's actually the most diverse office as it relates to services in the county. And so I am actually an ex officio member of the Commissioner's Court. So I'm the clerk of the Commissioner's Court. So all of the actions that come from the Commissioner's Court meetings, where there's contracts, resolutions, every action that takes place in Commissioner's Court, those records are maintained by me. I'm Ms. Petrie over state courts. I'm over county courts. That'll be the county courts at law, whether it's civil, probate, truancy, misdemeanor courts, the collection of court costs and fines from the misdemeanor courts. My largest division is our real property records division. I'm also the clerk of, or the registrar of the local registrar for vital records. So I issue birth, marriage, and death records. And so Ms. Petrie she's the clerk of the family courts, the civil district courts, the felony courts, and the juvenile courts. The difference between us is if Ms. Petrie resigned from office, the governor, because her office is a state office, the governor appoints her replacement. If I leave office, our commissioner's court appoints my replacement until the upcoming election.
Now the election now is what, for a 3-year or 4-year term?
It's a 4-year term. All county offices are 4-year terms.
4 years. Now, how long have you
4
been in
years.
office now?
I've been in office since 2007.
This your last term?
Well, that depends on the work that needs to be done.
Because you're getting up in age, John.
Oh, and I'm still a young man. Age, Ed, is a state
I
of
remember
mind.
you when you had hair, John.
Well, I remember when you had hair.
Oh, yeah, that was longer.
But
yeah.
no, but you know, but my office, I'm proud to say that I've done a lot of things since 2007. Within my first 4 years, I've actually transformed. My office was a very paper-intense office, and so. And within the first 4 years, I actually scanned, digitized, and put all of Dallas County's records online, available to the public. That's something that was never that was never available to the public before. But my office exists for John and Jane Q. Public, because I am the custodian of the records, and the law requires that I make those records available to the public for inspection. And so you can either come to my office and do that, but these days, whereas before I would bring you, if you came to my office, we will have to search for whatever documents that you may have wanted, paper documents. And so we would sit you down at a table and you would review those documents. Now, if you come to my office, we're going to sit you at a computer, and it'll only take you a short period of time to locate the document, because now they're all indexed so that we can find records from the records I maintain, Ed, they go back to 1846 to current. I have in my possession over 1 billion records, Dallas County records, that's accessible to the public. So when you talk about it, it goes hand in hand with everything. The fact that I have digitized all of their records. Now all of our records are stored in the cloud. And so when it comes to ransomware and all the other things, or cyber attacks, we're already protected because we have a double redundant system that protects us. So if someone comes and they're able to get a portion of our records, that's meaningless to us, because we just bring up we just apply another set of records. We just go to our backup systems. And so those are some of the things that I've done since 2007. But as you see, we continue to evolve. Now we have to look at how courts will operate in the future, post-COVID pandemic. How courts will operate. Will it be in a hybrid environment? Will it be in everything is back to normal, or will it be where it's a virtual? Understand that as it relates to there are a lot of court activity that can be virtual, that will continue to be virtual, but now the virtual platforms are more solid, and it's more like a real in-person hearing, because you can have doctors doing testimony virtually, but having someone try to come from out of town and you're trying to schedule arrange schedules, all that creates delays. But now, because we can do that virtually, all you got to do is set aside your 2 hours or however long it's going to take for you to participate in that hearing, and you log on and you participate in the hearing and you log off and it's done. And so that's the direction we're going. One of the things that we talk about when I'm working, whether it's with the Office of Court Administration or with the Texas Supreme Court, one of the things that will not take place is that there will be virtual trials. All trials will be in person, unless the parties say, no, we would prefer to have a virtual trial. And the reason that is so is because you have a lot of new lawyers, a lot of new lawyers graduating from law school, and they're getting into the legal field. They need that in-person experience of doing voir dire, where actually doing jury selection, or cross-examining a witness, or direct examination of a witness, and presenting information to the court. Because at some point, those young lawyers will at some point decide that they want to be a judge. And so they have to have that in-court experience so that they can be the absolute best as it relates to an attorney, so they can be an even better member of the judiciary.
Now, how do you get the people out to vote?
We have to make sure that people are aware that all politics matters, and certainly more than anything else, experience matters. These are not jobs for those with no experience. You have a lot of people that want to do these jobs. They run for reasons other than to serve the public. That is incorrect. Congresswoman Ed Bernice Johnson said it best. These are not titles. This is work. It is absolute work, and you have to have people with experience. In my particular race, I always encourage people. I say, go pull up my website, my campaign website, Dallas County's website. Look at that of my opponent. There is a vast difference between what we bring to the table, what I have and what she brings. Can't be compared, but experience matters, because you have to have people that knows how to make decisions, knows how to move around. There's no on-the-job training for this, because the 88th legislative session starts. Bills will start to be filed in November. And so when January comes around, you got to already know. And half of what happens in each legislative session is cleanup bills from previous laws that were passed in the previous legislative session. And so you got to have all that historical knowledge so that you can make an intelligent decision on what you are reviewing and how we got to this place. So experience does matter. You got to have people that really knows, who want to do the job, who wants to do it on behalf of the people and not for personal agendas.
Now, the individual that's running against you, they don't have the experience. Clearly, that's what you just said.
That's correct.
Okay. So how did she get in this position she's in the runoff? Other than the fact that three people in the race.
And that's a very good question. The deal is, some people may favor women over a man. Some people may favor a Latino over based on race. Some people may prefer a particular race over another. But for me, it's all about experience, because your gender will not get a job done. Your ethnic background or ethnic race will not get the work done. It's what information you have, what experience, what knowledge you have. That's what's going to get the work done. We always want to be pro-black or pro-Hispanic or pro this or pro that. But the matter is, you have to look at what a person is bringing to the table to get the work done.
What are you bringing to the table to get the work done?
That's a very good question. What I bring to the table, and I'll just talk about my background. When I first I moved to Texas in 1985. I spent my first career in federal court, and so So I was in federal court for 4 years. I left federal court. I went to the United States Department of Justice Criminal Division Fraud Section, and I was there for 3 years. Then I came to Dallas County, and I was introduced to technology when I was with the Department of Justice. And so I've been on both sides of the court spectrum, but I've also have the technology background that also is important today, because when you look at how we're going to do business, Dallas County is growing. When it comes to providing services, we don't want to keep adding more people. I think when I took office, the population of Dallas County was 2.3 million people. Now it's 3.2 million people. And just because the population is growing, that doesn't mean we hire more and more people. I'm actually trying to reduce the number of employees by adopting technology so that we can continue to get work done. If you look at what happened during the pandemic, that's exactly what we did. We were already ready, both Ms. Petrie and myself. When it comes to the work that we were doing, we were already set because our office were already working in a virtual environment. And so that's what it's going to take in order to go forward. What I bring to the table is 30 years of experience in the judicial field or the court field, as well as in the technology field.
All right. I think that's a good platform for us to do your closing, and we're almost out of time, so let's go and roll with that. Why should we elect you? You didn't gave us a platform, you didn't told us you have experience.
Mm-hmm. Why you should vote for me? You should vote for me because I'm the only candidate in the race with the experience necessary to continue to lead Dallas County forward in the right direction. I work with the Texas Supreme Court. I work with the Office of Court Administration. I work with the Texas Association of Court Administration. I work with the County and District Clerks Association. I work with the National Association of Counties. They value the input that I bring, and they value the experience and input that I bring in making sure that local governments at the local level and local government at the national level is what it should be when it comes to serving the citizens of Dallas County. The citizens of Dallas County can trust me to do the right job because I have that knowledge, I have that experience, I have those relationships as it relates to getting things done. And so when it comes to advancing the office, my office sets the mark. We are a benchmark office. We are best practices award-winning office. I've had clerks' offices, and other people come from. I've even had a delegation from Vietnam come to my office to see how we conduct business on behalf of the citizens. I've had Orleans Parish, Louisiana, come to my office. I've had L.A. County come to my office. I've had Clark County come to my office. I've had Detroit, Michigan, Chicago come to my office, Cook County come to my office to look at how we're doing things. Most recently, I had a county from Florida come to my office to look at how we're doing business, in addition to other counties in the state of Texas. My office is unmatched when it comes to the work that we do because I've raised the bar high, and I've met that bar. And Dallas County wants somebody, and also I might add that each year, because of the efforts that I've done as it relates to making sure that our virtual processes work and we are able to do more with less, I save Dallas County each year over $600,000 a year. Because my objective is to work with Commissioners Court so that we don't continue to raise taxes, be good stewards of the resources that we have, but also make sure that we are providing the services to the citizens of Dallas County that they need. And that's exactly what I do.
All right. Thank you, John. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ed, for having me.
Commish Radio Show, man. Hey, we want you guys to come back next week. I know it's Mother's Day weekend, but we do want you to, tune in on Saturday for the Commish Radio Show. And we had a great informative session with our Dallas County Clerk John Warren. He broke it down to us on the difference between quit claim deeds, warranty deeds, and what was the other deed?
Mechanic liens.
Mechanic deeds.
Mechanic liens.
Mechanic liens.
Yep.
So, we need to go ahead and make sure that we're up to speed on things, and that's the reason why you are listening to the Commish Radio Show.
And make sure you register for the Property Fraud Alert System.
All right. And when is the election time?
Election starts. Early voting is May 16th through the 20th. Election day is May 24th. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
All you need to say now is this is a paid political advertisement paid by the...
This is a paid political advertisement paid for by the John Warren campaign. Thank you very much.
All right. See you guys next week, Commish Radio Show.
Take care.
Hey, how you doing? This is Ed Gray of the Commish Radio Show. Stay